Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how you can connect Node.js to the Mongoose database by reading the data are inserted to our database of MongoDB. So let us start. First things I have to do is to come here, and on my desktop I create a new folder. This folder I can name it as check, and I have to open it here on my Visual Studio Code. And the next things I have to do is to open my terminal, and for opening my terminal is to come here and clear this, and I have to install the package.json which will be used here in our project with Node.js. The first things I have to look is to check if I have Node installed in my computer. I can write node-v and check my version. I have installed it. This is version 18.18.0, and after looking it, I continue to install my package. To install it, I have to write npm install npm init -y and press enter, and it will show me you have installed some packages where name was check, version was 1.0, description main was index.js. And as you see, after installing all my package, this is my package.json, and then that I have here is also the same as what I have here. I have to continue by installing my dependencies. The dependency I have to install is to install Mongoose and install Express packages. So I can write npm install Mongoose and Express at the same time and press enter. All two dependencies will be installed together, or you should install one by one if you want it, but here I installed Mongoose and Express dependencies together. This will have to be opened in my package.json. So our dependencies has been installed. When we look here on our JSON, there is dependencies which is Express and Mongoose, and after installing it, I have to clear all here on terminal and come here and have to create a new file. Let me name it as index.js and press enter. And then before I can come here on my computer and search MongoDB campus. This is our MongoDB that are installed locally. We have to install to connect our Mongo database which are locally, that we are going to use in local, must have been downloaded and installed in your computer. So next you have to come here and try to type our code, and we will read the data that are inserted in our database and receive it in our browser. So by starting, we are going to initialize Express and Mongoose. I have to start by initialize Express, const express equals require bracket single quotation. Let me write Express, and then I keep the semicolon here and write const Mongoose will be equal to require bracket Mongoose like this, and keep the semicolon here, and I have to also to write const app equal to Express bracket and keep the semicolon here, and I can initialize the port that will our code open it to our page. I can write const port equal to, let me try to write 3001 like this, and then I have to initialize the middleware to pass our JSON. Let me try to write app.use bracket express.json and keep the bracket here as our function, and I can provide the semicolon here. So as you see, this was our middleware. Let me comment it and show you. The middleware was this for passing our JSON for Paris JSON, and after the middleware we have to create connection link for our Node project with our MongoDB. I can write mongoose.connect, and inside here on my bracket I can provide the link that are from our Mongoose. We come here to my local MongoDB campus and keep the slash here on my link and write check and click here on connect. For connecting this, I have to come here and click here and copy connection string. I have to come also here and keep some single quotation here and paste my link which have the check name, and I create some database here. Then try to create my database. My database, I can name it as name my database as check, and the question name, because we can insert the data of users, let me name it as users and click here on create database. So I have already created my database with the question name of users. My name of database was check, and I can come here on my Visual Studio Code. Here inside here, I can, after creating the connection, I can come here under, and as you see before, I have initialized the port. Let me try to keep it here. This was my port, and I can also continue by write app.listen for listening my port, and keep the bracket here and write port like this, and give the arrow function and open the curly braces and write console.log. Write this and give the backticks here. I can write server is running on port like this. Port will be 3001 and give the bracket here. So when I come here on my terminal and I write node-index.js as name of our file and press enter, it will show me server is running on port 3001. So if I also come on my browser and write localhost 3001 and press enter, we open some page, but there is no data we found here. And I can come here and I will continue for creating my connection. Inside here I have also to initialize my schema. Let me try to write const user schema like this, equal to new mongoose dot schema like this, and keep inside the bracket and open two curly braces. I have to name, provide the name will be equal to string because name was a string, and give the comma here, and the password will also be string. Let me try to give this as the username like this, and give the comma here. Next I have to keep the semicolon here and also initialize our model, and have to write const user model. Let me write this will be equal to mongoose dot model, and keep the bracket here, and also write user. This, because this was our collection name, will be go here on our model, and also keep the comma here and write user schema. And then I have to provide the request and receive the response. I can write app dot get bracket, and inside here let me give it one single quotation, and I keep the comma here, and bracket will have request and response like this. After I have to provide arrow function and open it and write user model dot find, because we're going to find the data that we have inserted in our database. Dot find bracket, and keep also inside the curly braces and write dot then bracket, and provide users as our collection name, and write an arrow function and also open it, and inside on our curly braces I will have to provide the response.json, because we will go on our database this JSON and provide the data that are in our MongoDB, and provide here bracket write users. So fine. Next I have to keep the semicolon here and press enter. After our bracket I have to write dot catch error, because we are going to check if there is error. We have to catching it and provide an arrow function, and also here you have to open it and write console dot log bracket write error, and also I have to keep the semicolon here, and I have, so here I forget to keep another bracket, and let me try to close another here, and under on our console I have to provide response dot status like this. Let me keep 500 and write dot send bracket, and provide the text which will be error fetching users like this, and then I have to provide a semicolon here, and also other semicolon here and other semicolons here. And after writing this, I can also back here on my connection. I can write, keep the semicolon here and open this. Inside on it, I can use user, use new, So after doing this, I can come here and provide the configuration settings that So after doing this, I can come here on our connect and provide the configuration settings that influence how Mongoose connects to our MongoDB. I can click here and right comma and open this, and I have to provide use new, let me write this, use new URL parser, and will be equal to true. Let me try to write true, or it is true, like this. And then I have to keep the comma here and also write use unified topology, which will also be to true. And then I have to keep the comma here. After this, I have to write dot, then bracket, and also provide an arrow function and open it. And inside here, I have to write console.log bracket and provide the sentence which was connected to MongoDB, which shows as it was connected to MongoDB. And after, I have to keep a semicolon here, and catchy annular will be dot catchy, like this function, and write inside L, and also provide an arrow function which will show us if there is an error for the connection, console.log, like this, or sorry, this will be console.error, and keep the bracket and write is error while connecting. Let me keep it in smaller letter, like error while you are tried to connect to MongoDB, like this. So MongoDB. So, and after this, I have to, after our single quotation, I have to write comma and write L. Fine. And outside here, also keep this close semicolon. So after doing this, what we are going to do is to come back here on our MongoDB compass and add our data that we have to read it. And here, let me delete this and insert some more data. I have to keep the comma here and press insert and write username, because it was on our schema, will be string. Let me try to name it as Joseph, and keep double quotation here, and also I have to keep it here and keep the comma here and also write password. We also have the double quotation and write password. We also can be character, string, or number, but let me try to name it as password 123 because I name it as a string, and keep also double quotation here and comma. If I keep the comma on final user schema, we also not working. I have to remove it and press insert to show us our data has been inserted to our database. Now we are going to read it on our browser. I can also back here on my terminal and write node-index.js to check if our data has been connected to our Mongo database, and press enter. It will display as server is running on port 3000, and here there was maybe an error for our connection. There is error for connecting to our database, and this was an error because when I come here and write localhost 3001, because it was our port, it will display that there was an error while fetching the user. Let us back to our VS Code and resolve this problem. So for solving this problem, I have to come here and remove this localhost, and because my computer will use an IP address, and write 127.0.0.1, and also back here and write node-index.js and press enter. Will also show me that server is running on port 3001 and show me connected to the MongoDB. And when I come also here and run this, will show me my data was username was Joseph and password was password 123, and you see my MongoDB was the same as like this. So I hope this video is good for you. Remember to click on subscribe. Thanks for watching.